Hello, how are you? Thank you for joining. I know it's an odd time, but I wanted to coordinate with GirlCode because she'll be joining me, okay? So thank you for joining at this time of day early. Bernadette, thank you. I see you in the chatmosphere. How are you doing, Miss Bernadette? Nice to see you. I see you on Instagram, right? We're connected there. So it's nice. I hope you're having a good day. And I want to jump in where we left off. And Girl Code will be in shortly. Who else is here? I think my connection is getting a little weird. I hope it holds up well. Hello, Adam. Hooray. How are you? Hello, Nixon. Good afternoon. We're meeting up at a different time, right? Patrice, hello. Hi. Alice, hello. Washington State says hi. Hello in Washington State. This is fabulous to see you at this early hour. Well, thank you, Adam. You are so good to me. You really are. So I sent everything to our girl code, and she'll be joining us shortly. I'll pick up where we left off. How about that? Okay. And today, because Girl Code is joining, I am also adding Boston into our little tour. Okay. So we're still doing the Jenny tour through Philadelphia, and we're adding a stop in Boston. Okay. That's where Girl Code is. And she'll be adding to this conversation. Okay. If you are in Boston, please chime in and tell us which buildings you resonate with from the old world in Boston. I know you have tons to choose from. Vermont says hi. Well, hello, Sarah. Hello in Vermont. I would love to visit Vermont. I've never been there. But I wonder, tell me, Sarah, do you have any of these Tartarian beautiful architectural structures in Vermont? I don't know much of your architecture in Vermont. I only assume that it's a little bit more like Massachusetts and Pennsylvania, a little bit, right? A little bit of that style. But do you have any really big, very special places in Vermont that look like the same type of builders? Okay, let us know. Let us know. Hello, Ravisante. Oh, that's beautiful. Ravisante. Did I say that right? Hello, and thank you for joining. Shauna, hello there. Empress Vibes, hi. Hey, Steph Glows. How's it going? Oh, my special friend. And I can blame this gentleman right here. This is Joseph O'Sullivan over in Ireland. Now, it would figure that God has a mysterious way that he does things, okay? It was Mr. O'Sullivan here, of all people. That means you don't have to be close by. He's all the way over on the other side of the world, we think, right? We don't really know, right, Joseph? We don't really know about the maps being correct anymore. But if we just go by what we learned in school, Ireland is, over there across the pond, right? So thank you for joining, Joseph. Joseph, like I said, he happened to make a comment. That's why just your comments mean so much to us. We learn so much from each other, and I love your comments. I really do, and I appreciate them. Well, he dropped a comment in a post that I had on Instagram. And like I told you all yesterday, just to kind of rehash, it was my pondering of an architectural structure in Philadelphia that began this journey, because I love the structure. It's the Art Museum of Philadelphia, which we talked about yesterday. Well, I posted something regarding that structure, and it was something that Joseph said, and it started me down this road that I was, again, resisting, because I had heard about this stuff, but it was just not my time, right? Not my time. But I thank you, Joseph. What you said was the spark that made me, opened my mind up. Okay, so I just thank you so much. Yes, it is your first time in a long time. We've missed you. It's been a long time. Hello, Abe. Nice to see you on this early afternoon. Oh, thank you for letting me know. The E is silent, everybody. Can I try it again? Rivissant. Did I say that right? Rivissant? It's beautiful. I would love to know what it means. So I will jump right in. And when our sister comes to join, I'll let her in when I see her in the back of the stage. Okay. All the world is a stage. Okay, we're going to have a little fun too. It looks like the connection is already starting to get weird. Hold on. Just talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to plug in my computer and I'm going to check this connection and see what's going on. So I don't want to lose power while we're chatting. Oh, Rivissant said that it means bell, which is beautiful. Bell. Am I correct? Beautiful name. That's a different name. Okay, everyone, I'm almost here with you. Let me get back on the cam. All right. So, yes, it means beautiful. I knew that. Look at that. I didn't have to know all of your language to understand. Look at this. I'm having technicals. My wardrobe people, which are me, my earring fell out. You all know that I love the pollinators. So these are the earrings that I wear. It was a beautiful gift from Savannah, Georgia. Look at that. A beautiful gift. So that's what I'm wearing. And they're very lightweight. They're hollow. Just in case you were wondering, how is she wearing those? They're hollow. See? They're light. Okay? So let's see. From our I'll put my earring back in, get myself together. What is it? Is it because it's early in the day that I don't have my act together? My act, right? Notice the words I'm using, my act. Let's see. Adam is saying Aladdin Cave of Wonder Keys. Let's see. Empress, what are you up to? I love that you're all here on this early, what is it, Wednesday, December 22nd, star date 2021. We don't know that for sure. We just play around. That's what they told us. We kind of agreed to it. We consented to their crazy times and seasons, and they keep us in a crazy loop, propping up Babylon when we go along with their calendars and their festivals and their everything. I just want to say that. I'm not saying everything I want to say because I know it triggers people a bit. Thank you. You love these earrings. You love bees. I love bees a lot. All right. So today I'm just calling this, part 2 of what we were talking about. The what did I say? The battle between the builders, right? His time is very short. And the old world energy. We want to keep that old world energy because it's very important to connect, and it is important to know where you came from. I know that a lot of us don't know where we came from. Some of you are blessed enough to know, oh, I have, cousins in Ireland. I have this in Britain, and I have these people in these places. And you could literally go travel to those places and see your kinfolk. Whereas some of us, we can't go so far and see people. They wouldn't accept us, some. But some of us have learned that we are from right here. Right here. Yeah. So the stories that we've been told, it's so many lies. You know how what is the housewife that says the lies, the lies? That's all I can think of. Candy says the lies. Oh, Girl Code, you're here. Hello, sister. She's saying hello to our beautiful family. You'll be right there. Okay. Yes, Girl Code's here. Jay Blair, Tartar Revelations, 1245 AD, question mark. Yes. Adam says, I know nothing about either side of my families. You don't? Okay. Yes, some people, we have mysterious origins, but they're not hidden. They will be revealed. We will know these things, Adam. Okay, so you just hold on. Cece, hello. We have our soul family now. We do. We have our soul family, and that is so important in these times that we have our soul family and we can have conversations. We can go down rabbit holes and tell each other that, oh my goodness, my mind's been blown again, like I told you all yesterday. I didn't know that I would have a major other red pill because I've just been down so many rabbit holes. I was just like, I'm rabbit holed out. That is just, I can't do any more rabbit holes. But this one just, I stumbled on this one. Thank you very much, Joseph O'Sullivan. Our beautiful Harlem Sentinels in the house. Greetings to you, Karen and Meep Meep. Thank you for coming here today. So it is wonderful. I will, again, when our sister gets into the backstage area, you didn't miss anything, Christine. I was just, rambling. My earring fell off. I'm kind of a hot mess right now, but I'll be fine. Yes, Joseph says all about the soul family now, all across the earth plane. Yes, we are learning that. That's right. You say rabbit holing is exhausting. It is, Nixon. But you know what? I'm just going to tell you, I'm not trying to sell you on this, but I'm going to say, Nixon, if you haven't been down the rabbit holes that lead to these, like come out of this area, I would say this one is worth it. Okay. I promise you, you will not come away exhausted like we were with those other, I don't know. I can't speak for you, but for me, it left me energized. It was, like I said, I feel like I got a hope booster of some hopium, which I know a lot of people don't think. Yeah, hopium is bad. It's say no to hopium. Some people are like Grinches, right? They don't want you to have hope. But I want you to have hope, not hopium in terms of false hope, but I find that this is like Joseph O'Sullivan said in a quote, this is tangible. You can touch this, okay? This is history that we can perceive as well as our senses, right? All of our senses can discern that this is real stuff and we've been lied to. It's a lot that doesn't make sense. Their narratives are really falling down. Kate says Matrix 4 is released today, FYI. Speaking of rabbit holes, are you going to see it, Kate? I want to see it possibly because I watched some of the other ones and I'm curious what they're possibly going to try to, how they do the backdoor messages. I just wonder, just curious. So we'll see. Hey, GirlCode is here. GirlCode, are you here? Can you hear me? Come in, sis. So, GirlCode's here. All right. So, what we're going to do is I will put me and GirlCode in that small box while we talk about this next stuff. Okay. So, we're going back. Or are we going back? Are we going back to the future? What is going on here? So we're looking at architecture because architecture, without doing some fancy, lofty class, architecture tells your story a lot. It tells a lot. And this architecture that we are observing, we are seeing that it doesn't matter where you are in the world, whether you are in China, Boston, Philadelphia, Dublin, London, wherever. Like I said, Havana, Cuba, places in South America, doesn't matter. Any of the states here, you will see this architecture all through and through. And when you start to, like I said again, do the math, it doesn't make sense that this stuff was supposedly built for many of the world exhibitions and world fairs, and they were supposed to be temporary structures, a lot of them. We've been told they've been made with very poor materials, and hence why they are left to deteriorate and catch fires, and all kinds of destructive things happen to these beautiful structures. So we're starting to see what we didn't see before. And we look at these structures against some of the newer architecture, and it becomes very, very clear. And you knew it in your subconscious. You knew what you were seeing, but they kept us so plugged into their matrix that we knew intuitively, I'll say, if that's okay, we knew that these structures were way more special, and it entailed way more technology than we have even seen in our modern world. We have no idea how these things happen. Some people will chalk it up to extraterrestrials. They will chalk it up to anything but human involvement, because it's too fantastical for the brain to imagine that a group of humans built these structures. I don't know if you have an opinion about who were the beings, if they're human, what type of terrestrial being could create these things, right? Who were they? They I don't know, everybody. We haven't really come across this kind of stuff in new architecture. You can't tell me where in the world would you see anything that was built in the 20th century, I'll say the 21st century. When have you seen anything built like this? And this was supposed to be, again, the mid 1800s. So this is a photograph of course, the technology that came out of the world's fairs, one being photography. Very key, right? Like I said, through images, they've been able to keep their myths and stories alive, and they have sought our consent to their folklore, and we have empowered them by giving them, like, they rent or hijack our imagination, and we bring to the material world to life what they imagine. Like their imaginings are evil, and we are a source of energy, without getting too deep into that. But so that is a scene from Philadelphia. And I want to bring this up because I hope it's okay. I want to take my time today. I want to finish this one in this particular setting. So if you have to go do things, you can come back, okay? If it runs long, bear with me, okay? We're ending out 2021, and I'm going to take my time, okay? So I want to tell you about this photograph. I've posted it online before. This is when I traveled to China. One of my trips to China, I went to the Shanghai Tower in Shanghai, and very impressive buildings going up all through China, new glass buildings, glass and steel, which is a marking of this modern era. So they have the Shanghai Tower, and it looks like it's kind of twisted, and they have all these towers all throughout Shanghai. and it looks like, wow, they really won this whole like building competition, because yes, let's be truthful, countries do compete with each other to see how many buildings and what kind is the tallest building, or the most whatever, I guess, creatively constructed building in an odd shape or something. And we've seen this happen all through the world. You know that in Dubai they have the Burj, and these are all like trying to outdo Asia, right? So China being right in there in that competition. The Shanghai Tower. Okay, I went up there. Okay, not a big deal. You've been up in a tower. You kind of tell yourself, oh, this is great. But you know what happens? A lot of our experiences are just kind of empty. After you do it, you're like, okay, next. You know, if you've seen one tower of glass and you've gone up, then you've kind of seen them all. I don't know if I'm sounding like a bratty American by saying that, but I'm going to explain more about what I'm saying, as opposed to like new school and then old school. It's like new school leaves you with wanting more. They're empty calories, like a nothing burger. So when you do these things, it's like, okay, big deal, right? So I was looking out the window and I looked on, the river and all the activity. It was beautiful looking at Shanghai from this very high vantage point. But what caught my eye, your sister, I'm the weird tourist, okay? First of all, this trip that I took this picture, it was a solo trip. I went over by myself. So I just, notice everybody's taking pictures. Oh, everybody's out there looking and, taking pictures. But I am drawn to this picture right here. It was in the center of the observation area that we were, way up in the building. And it looked like a sort of mini museum. And I was like magnetized to this picture. And I want to see if you can tell me what you think about this picture. This picture is in China, in Shanghai. When you look at these people, what are you seeing? Can somebody like be courageous? Okay, if you're non-melanated, just say what you see. It's okay, all right? We're in a very free and safe zone. But tell me what you see in terms of these children. What is your first impression looking at this picture? I want to see what you say. And it's okay. It's okay. All right, Empress. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. If you answered black, I'll take black for 20, for 200, Alex. Then yes, that is what I am seeing, okay? That is exactly what. Yes, thank you. Melanated, black, dark kids. I'm telling you, it's okay. It's okay. Black skin. You say they look like dolls. Yes. Black, right? Okay, so imagine my chagrin. I'm looking and I'm like, okay, I'm in China, last I checked, but I'm looking at pictures that look like black children in China. And I don't have a tinfoil hat on, okay? I haven't taken a shot of opium, but I see black people. Some people say, I see dead people. I see black people. I see black people. Okay, so yeah, now that you've had your fun, these are black people, melanated folk. Okay, how are they in China? Can somebody tell me how they're in China? What is going on right now? Have you had these moments when you're like, okay, it's a whole lot that's not making sense right now. And if I start talking about it, everybody's going to call me a conspiracy lunatic. But I see what I'm seeing, okay? I see black people, okay? How are these black people in this picture over in China? So I go to read because they have, of course, it's in Chinese, Mandarin, but they also have it broken down in English. And guess what, people? It is a kind of an odd story. Like we are all saying, when you start doing this research and you read the narratives, it's a lot that you'll be scratching your head like, none of this makes any sense. You know how they say, make it make sense? Okay, they are saying for these children, let me get my phone because I have it, I can blow it up and read it. But just hang on, everybody. Hang on. I'm going to tell you what it says. If you can't, I know it's a little bit small. Okay, these children, it says 30 uniformed children. They say 30 uniformed Chinese students took a picture at the gate of China merchants seaman ship. Okay, it says China merchants seaman ship. I'm reading it. Okay, so it says navigation company, now as Bund, BUND, number 8, on August 12th. Listen to the year 1872. 1872, this event was regarded as the beginning of studying abroad movement that was praised by Sing Q Fan. I can't make out the rest. It was an event without precedence in Chinese history. Okay, so remember that we are looking at the 1800s. So this picture, 1800s, children. And I want to let you know that I'm going to be talking about children when it comes to this subject. I'm going to be doing some research, and I'm going to do a live stream about children. But I will warn you that if you are a little bit sensitive, it's about children. So what we talked about yesterday, a lot of people mentioned that they knew about the orphan trains. Okay, so if this is all new to you and you want to begin this research, you're going to wind up here also. When it comes to the 1800s and something called orphan trains. And it's very mysterious. Of course, yes, Bernadette, of course, that's what it is. But everything around it is very mysterious. So I want us to put our collective heads together, and I want to deal with this right here. The orphan trains and some other things that deal with children, because many of us came to this movement because of children and what has been happening on our watch, and we weren't watching. So there is something really that weaves through history, and it really involves our children. Hence why we always say, save the children. People think that we are obsessed, that we are in a crazy cult, but we are serious when we talk about issues around children. We have to wake up to this. As much as it's sad, hey, Sharian, it's you said too sad. Yes, it is too sad, but it's sad, and it could be disturbing, triggering, and all the things. But for anybody who could push themselves to learn this history, I would say that we can do it together. It's hard, I know. But like I told you, that's another area of where the 1800s kind of leads to. But again, overall, like I said, when I went down this particular road of research, I came away with a lot more like hope. It really gave me, like I said, a booster, like I said yesterday. So this is an issue that also touches me in terms of my grandfather. I am suspecting, was part of this whole orphan movement. He was an orphan, and it's a whole lot of mystery, a lot of changing stories. Nobody really knows, even if they've gone on to, what is it, Ancestry, and tried to find out. We don't know. I'm trying to, just let you know that my grandfather was a mystery orphan, a foundling, whatever the words they gave it. But I'm going to do a separate live stream about this, okay? So just hang on for that. And this is also another weird thing. I'm just bringing it up because I know we were kind of talking about it. Hey, Mary, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a bit. You say we need to bring this issue to the forefront. I agree, Mary. And I know that some people have a hard time with it. But know that we are going to be better for knowing these things, knowing the history, what happened, who hijacked our timeline, and all kinds of things like that. How did they get here? What are they doing? Hi, Christine. Thank you for joining us on this afternoon. I'm going to take my time, okay? Dave, thank you. You said just after the last reset. So anybody who is looking into this research, we keep hearing the word reset. It was already done in terms of what I believe. The reset already happened. That's why we have these weird glitches in the matrix and just this rise in such like diabolical control over the entire planet. This small group wants to control everything, and they stop at nothing, and it begins to become clear what we are looking at. I know we know, for people that are of faith, you believe in a bad side, a good side, God and the devil. Even though in my faith, Christianity, the devil's not the opposite of God. I used to believe that, I believe it's wrong what I believed. He's not the opposite. He's not more powerful. He's not, he's not the equal in any other sense, like any sense whatsoever. So he is evil, but he is a fallen cherubim. And I'm not going to talk about him too much. I'm not going to just harp on that. But I believe that he's not God's equal. Okay, that's my belief. And we'll talk more about little things, but not to get off on a tangent right now. I wanted you to see that this was part of the World's Fairs or World International Exhibitions that they had all over. Yes, GirlCode incubators. Isn't that a wow? So this was part of the technology that came forward, were incubators. Okay, remember, we're talking about the 1800s, in the mid to late 1800s, possibly some early 1900s. You can find World's Fairs that may have had some of the baby infant incubators. Okay, yes, it never ceases, right? Wowzers. And we're not learning about this in school. Okay, who learned about this in school? This would have been a good thing to learn about this history. So you can see here infant incubators, and it is very, very bizarre. And it acts like infants are some kind of like exotic being. Infants. Can you imagine? It says living with, or infant incubators with living infants. Imagine that, living infants. So we were talking about photography, and I just want to say that, hey, you think you are stunting and hitting your angles on Instagram? Look at my boy right here. If he isn't hitting angles, will you look at him? This is what, classical like art and stuff like that. He is being a model, I guess, for painting. So even when you think about painters back in this time when the art, supposedly was, thriving, and you see a lot of this, this artwork if you go to a museum like Philadelphia Museum. But think about like breaking that fifth wall, because we're breaking the fifth wall on the Matrix. And Who's posing for the pictures, the portraits that the painters are painting? They use models, right? Or am I wrong? Does this come out of their imagination? Would they just be able to paint this guy and he's really not a real person, but it's in their imagination, all of this detail? Or did they use a model, an art model, right? So it's a strange, like I say, breaking the fifth wall, because back in these days, you imagine, okay, they get art models and they're standing still for how long for this painter to paint? They come, different intervals, but what I'm saying is, isn't that interesting? Have you ever stopped to really wrap your head around that? It's odd. And you know, I don't know. To me now, I'm looking at everything in a different, so it's a different way. And this picture to the right is supposed to be the first cat photographed. So the first photograph of a cat. And for you dog lovers, I didn't come across the first picture of a dog. Everybody supposedly hates cats, right? But the first photographed pet is a cat, okay? So the cats are winning. No, I love dogs too. I'm not somebody who just says, "Oh, I love cats. I don't like dogs." I love all animals just about. Gemini, love, hello. Yes, you didn't miss much. I've been rambling a little bit, okay? But anyway, there you are. You said, I think I'm off topic. I should stop smoking so much. Abe said that. Oh my God. Cats win, right? Meow. So that's supposed to be the first cat photographed. And this, look at this. This is supposed to be the very first selfie. Okay, everybody. This is the 1800s. Do you see he has a stick? Can you see it really well? He has a stick and it's like we have now. Like you see the people in Disney World, you just want to take them and clobber them with that stick. It's all over. They're holding it up, doing selfies, but it is very effective. But if you could keep the stick out of the picture, I think that's the point. So I'm just saying, look at them, okay? They're taking a selfie back in the 1800s, okay? So is anything really new under the sun? So one of the things I did notice, because I look back at some of the pictures that we looked at yesterday, last night, and for anybody who hasn't seen part one of this series, I would invite you to go see part one. You don't have to see it in linear order, because I'm not trying to get in that whole issue of linear time. You can look at it out of whatever sequence, okay? But check it out, because I showed some pictures, but the pictures, remember I showed all those pictures? I noticed nobody was smiling, okay? If you go, wait, I'm going to go back and show you. Nobody was smiling, but this couple, they are smiling, which is so interesting. Okay, let me go back. Hold on, everybody. Okay, see, remember these pictures I showed yesterday? And just look, they're not smiling with a cheesy smile. They're kind of just, what do you call that when you're just smiling with your lips are closed? Even the children, I mean, look at the babies in this picture, this family. The babies aren't cheesy and smiley. Nobody's smiling. Oh, there we are, the real Princess Leia. Represent. Look at those buns. So yeah, look at this. They're not smiling and cheesing. Look at that. Serious kind of, right? He wants to break out. Old boy over there to the left wants to break out, maybe do a smile, but he seems like he's holding it back. Do you see that? Does it look like he's kind of holding back? You say a smirk. That's what it is, a smirk. Yes, but I'm just saying, like, doesn't he look like he kind of wants to, but he's got his he's restraint. Look at this. It's like, what's going on, everybody? Can you tell me what you're picking up on an intuitive level when you look at these pictures from the 1800s? I mean, I went on and on yesterday about I'm looking at everything in a different way. And look at that. Even the two girls in the meadow there, they're not smiling. And the couple over there, right? Look at that. All of these pictures. They're not smiling. I think that's it. Oh yeah, there we are. We're just going to say that that guy over there is reaching for his wallet, okay? He's not doing the veiled second veil hidden hand, right? No, you conspiracy nutcase, fruitcake. He's reaching for his wallet because he's at Starbucks and he has to pay for his latte. Okay, I'll stop being corny. Okay, I'm going to skip through back to where we were. Okay, where we were there, we were here. Selfie, they were the only ones smiling. Okay. So, what are you all saying? Everything's been a lie, right? Are you just feeling that way, Dave? It's really like, it's cuckoo. So, what are you going to do? So, let me go on. And you got to, okay, I'm not going to be real shady, but I'm going to be somewhat shady. So, if you're feeling sensitive, I might make you mad right now because I'm just making observations, my opinion. But this looks very dramatic and I don't know, it just looks staged maybe. Alex, can I get a crisis actor for 200, please? I don't know, I'm just okay, everything looks, I don't know, staged. It's a picture that was taken and it's supposed to be kind of like a real scene. I don't know. Everybody, this photography, everything is balanced out, you know, they took perfect pictures, didn't they? They really did for new technology. I'm just saying, but this looks like a lot of extraness. And this right here is a hospital in Philadelphia. We're still on the Jenny tour going through Philadelphia. Are you picking it up, right? You seeing it too, CC? If you go down this Tartarian architecture and mud flood rabbit hole, you're going to be looking at everything like, hold it, something is weird here. All the world is a stage. Shakespeare, it turns out, was many people, not one person, but many. Yes, actors. Cut. Scene 2. Exit stage right. It is something really not what I thought, okay? So anyway, Friends Hospital, look at the architecture. Again, I want you to look at the architecture because we're really focusing on that because it says a lot. And again, it is a tangible. This building, now I've been inside of it. It is unbelievable, the inside as well as the exterior. So this is a hospital that the Friends Society, the Quakers, they used to own it, and it's now used as a psychiatric hospital. Okay, and they have even children that are at the hospital too. I've worked in the adolescent and children's area. I worked in the eating disorder and, you know, I would float to some of the other units, adult units as well. But this hospital had a lot of interesting artifacts and things. You know, in some of the older hospitals, they'll have a hallway and it looks like a museum, and they may have displays actually of old surgical tools. Do you know what I'm saying? It looks kind of, it's really interesting, you know, it's kind of, yeah, it looks like Monticello. Thank you very much, Cece. This is what we are talking about. If you've seen one of these structures in one location, all you have to do is go to Monticello, like Cece just said, and there you are, bam, you start seeing the same architecture. And you could go again anywhere else and you see the same. It is a unified architectural structures, art form, style. These people were all over the world in a unified way. And that's what I am detecting. So Let's see. We'll go through more of this. So this is Pennsylvania Hospital. Oh, you know what? I want to tell you. Okay, this is the Pennsylvania Hospital. I've worked at this hospital as well. This is the nation's first hospital. Look at the beauty, okay? Look at it. And this is back to Friends Hospital. Friends Hospital. Look at how beautiful. And this is a new unit on Friends Hospital. So do you see what the difference? Look at this, which was built, I guess, maybe in the 80s or something. And then you look at the rest of the hospital. When they try to add on to these hospitals, this is what you get right here. I mean, I'm not trying to knock the architect, but I'm just saying we have to be kind of humbled and say that we can't compare to what they have created. But anyway, I want to tell you something funny about this hospital. When I interviewed for Friends Hospital, one of the women who interviewed me, she was the director of the unit I was going to work on, or the manager, I'll say manager. So we got along, we hit it off. We were kind of the same age, so she was like a peer, and she was trying to like be like real warm and friendly. I shouldn't say she was trying, she was, okay? So check this out. I get hired, she hires me, and I begin training, and I think it was my first day of training. She comes into, like, I was in a conference room doing, the kind of training stuff you do. I was doing all the paperwork and everything. She comes in and she looks really worried, and I'm like, uh-oh. You know how you can just sense something's not right? This is story time, by the way. So she shuts the door behind her. I'm like, oh, this isn't a good sign. What is this chick about to tell me? And she says, Jennifer, I have something to tell you. I gave my 2 weeks notice, and I just want you to know, this is the woman who just hired me. Okay, if you weren't paying attention to the story, this was my first day of training, and she told me she had just turned in her 2 weeks notice. What should I have done? Do you have any advice if you were talking to my past self? What would you have done if you were me? What would you have done? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Have you ever had anything so crazy happen to you? What would you have done? So here I am, like, oh my goodness, what have I? Jay says exit. Leave. You would have quit. Bernadette said quit. Courtney says run. You would have resigned too. Not Nurse Ratchet, run. Okay. I'm a little bit odd. I stuck around. I was like, I must like mysteries and adventures, because I just somehow told myself this is normal. It was just so convenient to where I lived. And, when you're a nurse, you'll put up with a whole lot of crap. So I was like, I think I just had to make it work in my head. Okay. Have you ever done that with these jobs? You're like, nothing wrong here. It's normal. The woman that hired me just told me that she gave her 2 weeks notice. That's normal. So I stuck around. Okay. Do you see what kind of hunkering for punishment? Who would do that? You guys all have better sense than I did. You say you would leave too. Okay, let me get myself together. And okay, so she begins like to become my best friend during these 2 weeks that I'm working, while she's, about to leave. So we became, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? My reception went out a little bit. So what I was saying before the reception did that, she became like my best friend. She was just overly nice. I think it was guilt, of course, it was guilt. So one day she called me into her office. She was like, "Jennifer, come over to my office. I want to talk to you." I'm like, "Oh boy, what is this going to be?" But I went to her office and she was telling me that her office, she was starting to, pack it up and everything. And she told me like her office was so beautiful. You see this building right here. This is a hospital, and she had an office in this building. And she told, it was so beautifully appointed, decorated. And she said that she decorated the office all by herself. She was just chatting. I was like, really nice. Wow, where'd you get all this stuff? She said, "Oh, when I started, they told me like I could go into any empty rooms, like rooms that aren't being used, rather, and I could take any furnishings and things, and I could put it in my office." So it was like she had a heyday. Can you imagine a field day you could have with furnishings that would be in a building like this that are, you have rooms that aren't being used full of furniture, okay, and you could just go and decorate your office. So yeah, she was just like telling me all kinds of fun stuff like that. Dana's here. Dana, fact check me, please. Yes, a glutton for punishment. A glutton for punishment. Hi, Marie. Those are things that now that you have awakened to these matrix things, I don't think you would do that today. I don't think my current self would do that today, is stick around for punishment, incoming punishment. I wouldn't do that. Yes, antiques. It's like an antique shop, haunted antiques. Yeah, kind of like that. I mean, she had all kinds of rugs and, tapestries and everything you could imagine if somebody lived in this place. But yeah, so anyway, that's my story of Friends Hospital. And for anybody who knows Philadelphia, you know that this is City Hall. It is very iconic. Hello, Elizabeth. Hola. So this is a very iconic building. I have yet to see anything. This is an exquisite building, I must say. It is really special. And this is City Hall. And on top of City Hall, for anybody who just, this is a little bit of history. It's William Penn, Billy Penn, as he's referred to by Philadelphians. And there was a building code that no buildings could be taller than William Penn's hat. So he sits atop this building. So there was a time when nothing could exceed that. They have since changed those codes, and they've put up all of their glass and steel buildings, okay, to kind of, it looks now, when I look at this and I've gone down this rabbit hole, it looks like it is very intentional that a lot of these cities, they built things to try to overshadow these beautiful places, right? These places harness energy. Exactly. Why would anybody use a building like this for all of the corruption that goes on in the Philadelphia politics, right? City Hall, the most corrupt place in these cities like Philadelphia. But yeah, what Joseph said is, it's a lot of effort for a city hall. Yes, that's when you have to really start to question things. That doesn't make sense to house political power in such a structure. That's not what the intent was for the building. Didn't somebody say that yesterday? What were the intentions? And we know that these hijackers basically took over these structures, and of course they have all of that hidden. Not all of it, but they basically hid it from us about what this was for. What was it used for? So that this was their way to consolidate power, take create a fiat money system, enslave the entire earth. This is not just one country. We're talking about world domination on, on 1,000, and all inspired by that cherubim who he has tricked the humans into doing his bidding. And they're going to learn, and a lot of them have already learned, that they made a very bad deal with the chief. They made a very bad deal. They reversed it, Dave says. Joe Dingle, hi, thank you for joining. This connects to why there are a lot of shootings in Philly right now, the Kabbalish energy. Thank you, Joe. Very good point. Philadelphia has become such a chaotic city. And when you think about the beauty that Philadelphia has, of course, the enemy of humanity would go and really fight to tear apart the fabric of something that was so good. You could find a lot of good in it, but everything is up for, like, for me, everything is up for evaluation, reevaluation, because it is, yes, this is crazy. Pretty much, yes, thank you. Mary is saying all the city hall buildings across the country are very ornate and enormous. That's right. And we'll talk about more of the buildings. We're gonna let us just do this on a regular basis, friends, okay, family. I love this subject and I want to keep delving into more, because this is the first time I've found history to really be more alive than what I learned in the Philadelphia public schools. So this would be, look at that on the left, that's inside City Hall. So can you imagine all these bums are sitting around planning all of their corruption, and they're sitting amongst all of this beauty. Yeah, they're sucking up the energy, right? You want me to continue? I will, because I'm learning with you, okay? Like I told them yesterday, Joe, I am a babe at this. This is new for me. I've gotten so excited and energized about this, and it is really going to be something I'm going to devote more time to. Now, the relief that's on the right side is at the 30th Street train station in Philadelphia. So look at that. Okay, who chiseled out that marble? Who did that, and what tools? Because the colonial people, they had tools, but they were more primitive, and I don't know how you would do all of this with the type of, like, horse and buggies and things like that. Horse and buggies, they had, I don't know, prior to all this. So this is inside the art museum, which we talked about, of course, yesterday, about the rocky stairs that people want to jump out of Ubers, and they want to, oh, wait a minute. Hello. Hey, how's it going? This is our sister, GirlCode. Are you having any trouble, GirlCode? Oh, it wasn't working. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me put you on. So hold on, everybody. GirlCode is having some issues, but she wants to say something to us. Okay, GirlCode, go ahead and tell us what you're thinking.
Sorry to interrupt. We're having such a good time in the chatmosphere. The topic is hitting. It's a hit, loaded with just so much decent information. I love it. And guys, I must have been having trouble with my mic because I kept asking, can you hear me? Can you hear me? She couldn't hear me. So I just wanted to call in really quick and mention something as it relates to the Chinese structures that we were looking at.
Yes.
And it made me think about, because somebody in the chatmosphere had mentioned Mandela effect, when it came to the buildings. And you know, I thought of, and that's where I had came in and tried to speak, and I thought of these mock buildings that they would create in China. So mock buildings, they would have these huge cities where nobody would live inside of these buildings. I mean, they would have the electricity turned on, and it said that these cities were erected and they were even looking better than the cities that the people were currently living in. And I was thinking to myself, well, could it be that they were setting themselves up to have something happen and call their current world the old world and then move over to the empty city? But while we followed the water, remember the whole mudslide. It was, you know, that current mud and water started to move through those mock cities and ruined their cities. So, and it was really weird because they had things erected that we had in America. So they had like this Pentagon, they had like this White House, and I don't know if they were doing some sort of black magic onto these buildings, because it was said that these were the exact way, you know, or the features were exact in the ways that we had our buildings constructed here in America. And I just thought that that was quite interesting when you were asking, you know, what is it that you're thinking of? So because nothing new is under the sun, like we were just talking about, me and my family, you know, could it be that the powers that be now, not the ones that want it to be, could it be that they're used to what the enemy does when he's trying to get rid of an old world and usher in a new world?
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
So I just wanted to mention that.
Okay.
I thought that was interesting.
That is. Joseph says GirlCode is spot on. So, okay, this is deep. Truth. Adam says truth. We do not walk alone. Wow.
You never know. And another thing I wanted to say, just in case I don't have a chance to actually type it inside of the comment section, is so Jen and I were talking, guys, and we were thinking of those structures that they say, you know, was erected in the 1800s. And the only thing that I could think of, you know, in real life or real time, you know, besides museums or government buildings, was when I had this trip that I took. And it was not just a spiritual trip, although I do agree it was a spiritual trip. I had taken a trip to heaven. And when I was in heaven, my mother, she lived in a home that had put me in the mind of a library in the Copley Square neighborhood part of Massachusetts. And it wasn't overly huge. It was just enough to be comfortable. You know, and I thought to myself, well, you know, Christ is this great carpenter. You know, there's a verse in the Bible that talked about, you know, him constructing these beautiful mansions for all of us in the images that we find perfect. And if, you know, if it wasn't true, that, you know, he wouldn't tell us that that was true. So I'm thinking to myself, could it be that he was on the earth helping the ancient or the original Hebrews construct these actual homes, and, you know, the people on the earth felt, you know, that these were too sophisticated to be homes. We'll just put 30 bricks together. We'll put a few, you know, pieces of wood together and we'll sell it to them. You know, maybe they thought that we weren't worthy as a people to live inside of these structures that were originally created to be homes.
Wow.
Another thought.
That's a powerful thought. Wow.
Yeah. And so go ahead and carry on. I'll be in the chatmosphere. You're doing a great job. If you need me to call back in, just give me a signal before you end, okay?
Okay, sis. Thank you. Love you. GirlCode's going to stay in the chatmosphere, everybody. Thank you, GirlCode. That was such a great addition. You see what she said? Like, she grew up in Boston, so she's no stranger to this architecture, like many of you out there, wherever you live. And her mother, has died, and she imagined her mother in heaven in a building of this type of, like, what she's grown up, like the library that she mentioned. And like, I'm going to show a picture of it, and I hope she'll call back and tell us more about what she's saying. But this is something that all this time it's been right in front of our face, that you didn't have to imagine what heaven would look like. When you go inside these structures, I know that they would pull on your heart. It was something that resonated. You didn't know why. Me and GirlCode were talking about whenever we had to take school trips to the art museum, and the other kids are like, we've got to go back to the art museum. Oh, that's so boring. You were like inside, like, yay, we're going back. I was that kid too, okay? Were you that kid that loved it? I mean, I look forward to these field trips. So I'm just saying that it is amazing. Oh, this is beautiful. GirlCode. Sharon says, your mom sent you the message, I arrived. Oh my God, Sharon. Whoa. That is beautiful. Beautiful. Sissy, I hope that you accept that right there. Receive that. That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That's so beautiful. So this is the inside. People run up to do the rocky stairs, but if you go inside and you just take it all in, I don't think you would be thinking of Rocky Balboa and Adrian. So here we are, more of the interior. And, look at that, Marie. I grew up on Long Island in Catholic school. We didn't have trips like that. Oh, you didn't? Oh, too bad. You were that kid that was excited, Cece. Yes, you were too. We all like gravitate towards each other. So this is more of City Hall. City Hall. Look at that, Philadelphia. Hey there, sis. Wait.
That you just put up, what our sister just said, had given me chills from the top of my head to my pinky toe.
Do you hear that?
It's so crazy because when I got there, first of all, when I arrived, it was these three gentlemen. I know they had to be somebody from the Bible because they were fitted, like the gold breastplates. They were really tall beings, okay?
Wow.
It was three of them. It was like they were guards, okay? And when I got there, it was about maybe 6 doors. 2 were open, and then like 4 were closed. And my mother had come out of the middle of the door. She opened up 2. And when I came inside, she was laughing because they could read your thoughts. And she said, look at this. I have arrived. She did it like she did it in style. And she goes, well, do you see why I don't miss it there? Look at this. She was just showing me, and it was all these birds flying and all of these. It was just so many flowers and everything as we had come into the first part of the building. But those are the first words that my mother said to me. It was not, hi baby, I miss you. She said, look at me, I have arrived. And she did a little twist and she couldn't wait, just like you can't wait to show off your home, your new home to your friends when they come. She couldn't wait to show me everything that her home in heaven had to offer. This is why I always explain that this was more than just a spiritual trip, because I can tell you what happened every day in heaven. I can tell you all sorts of aspects and different parts of heaven. There was so much that I learned about this heavenly place. And when I thought about, when we were talking, and I thought about the Tartarian buildings and the great the landscaping outside, the courtyards. And the first thing I had thought of, like I said, you know what? Heaven was truly constructed on the earth. Because how we always talk, family and sis, we always say that everything is a watered down version of heaven,
Mm-hmm.
right? We
Right.
say that. We say, oh, the military system and, our judicial system and all of these systems are watered down versions. Even our colors,
Mm-hmm.
is a watered down version of what heaven really is. And, I just don't think, now that we're in the days of the revealing, I just don't think we were able to wrap our mind around the fact that we had already had these mansions constructed. Instead, we're waiting for more to come, okay? We're waiting for these, and we had already had them given to us.
Oh my.
But now we're looking at them as if they're these monolithic structures and they're, this belongs to the government. This belongs to the library. You know what I mean? This belongs to the church. When in reality, those buildings belong to the saints. Those buildings belong to us.
Wow.
Those who have the hearts that we have, we have the hearts that never change. We can't be re-suggested to do evil, okay? And our Creator understood that. And He knew that we would figure out someday, one day soon, that those structures were put on earth for us.
Wow.
I truly believe that.
That's powerful.
And they just took it over. You know what I mean? Because if that was their structures, guys, if those really belonged to them, why would you have these world exhibits or these world fairs and these exhibits where you guys are marveling over them just like everyone else? If they belong to you, you wouldn't be so shocked about them.
Wow. Now that's a word. Oh boy, that puts another whole twist on.
I'm
this
sorry.
is so powerful.
Because when our sister said, your mother sent a message and said, I have arrived, I almost passed out when I got chills all over my arms. They're just going down.
Sharon, I want to thank you, sister, for putting that down in that chat. Just know, sometimes you don't know that you're going to touch somebody so deeply. And that is like, oh, wow. I mean, it is, oh my.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that one day when it's the appropriate day and everything, about what heaven was. Everything I remember everything from the smell. I know all the features. I remember everything. What we ate for pleasure, of course. We didn't eat because we were hungry. Everything in terms of the study halls that you could go to, the music rooms you could go to. It was absolutely beautiful. My little sister was there. She had lots of friends, and it was just so amazing. There is not a land of milk and honey, but the land is filled with milk and honey, meaning, well, when I walked along, I saw, this, in the meadow, I saw this milk that was going through. And I thought to myself, I wonder what it tastes like. And my mother, that was when I just started picking up on what telepathy was. And she says to me, oh, that's honey inside of milk, but you can taste it if you want. And I kind of just marveled at the fact that she knew what I was thinking.
Wow.
Right? And she says, yeah, because, we're very much in tune with what you're thinking.
Oh.
And I just could not believe it. And that's right then and there, I had knew that she understood what I was thinking. And this is why I try to tell people why it's so important to keep your inner soul cleansed. Think good thoughts and do good deeds. It doesn't matter who's around. It doesn't matter who's not there. What matters is that your soul, your mind, your thoughts are always being looked upon.
Wow.
Okay, and when you're a great person and you're doing great things and you just think to yourself, well, what makes me so special? Why do I have so much value in God's eyes? Because you're looking at yourself like you're a simple man or a simple woman. But the reality is that you're not, okay? You're not. You are very much a special person.
Wow.
Okay.
That is beautiful. That is so, I know a lot of people are touched. This is why it's so beautiful. Like, this is unplanned. This is better. And even Josephine is over here like at my feet. That's what I was like, what is she doing? It's like Josephine is even reacting. But
Josephine calls me sometimes on the phone, guys. It's so cute.
Really, Josephine called GirlCode one day. I look at my phone and she had tapped something and GirlCode was on the phone. So Josephine is reacting as well. Okay, just so you know. I was like, what is she doing? She's by my feet,
so
like
cute.
She's just walking through my feet. I don't have shoes on, so I felt like this tickling, and I'm like, what is going on?
That is so cute. Oh, well, guess what? She just made me think, though, because maybe she came up to you because they had all sorts of animals. So the cats were with the dogs.
Oh.
They had, like, rabbits. Like, it was all of these beautiful animals that just kind of played together in this really big park and stuff. Children were, like, running out there playing with them.
Oh.
And it looked like they were eating what I believe to be, like, a big cotton candy thing on a stick. It looked like cotton candy to me that the kids were eating, but they were playing with all of these animals, and they all just, you know, were having a good time and stuff. But I don't want to take over the whole show talking about heaven, but I definitely wanted to make mention that those are the same structures in heaven. This is not a book that I read. This is not something that someone told me that I just happen to truly believe. This is something that I physically saw with my own two eyes as I lay in an intensive care unit for 7 days. And I was pissed off when it was time for me to come back to the earth, okay?
Right.
So this was somewhere I was every day. Even coming back into the earth as I got here, it was just a smooth transition. It had, you know, what was going on at that time in heaven as it transitioned into me being, you know, back into the hospital bed. It was all very much smooth, that whole process. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I did not want to be here. I did not want to be here. It's a beautiful place. There's a portal. There's lots of portals, guys, so they look down. The portal is so close. We think heaven is really far. The portal is so close. It's almost as if they can touch you, but they can look down when you're having these magnificent days. You know how they say, oh, so-and-so's looking down on you. You know, when you have birthdays or you're getting married or maybe you're going through a divorce and you just need a little bit of support. You know, they're looking down and they're praying for you and they're cheering for you. And that's not a saying. It really does happen. And you know what you can also see before I go, I just want to say this. So say it, you know how all of us are getting together in the mornings. Remember when we did that, guys?
Yes.
On Jerry's channel? You get together and you get in prayer and you're praying about something. There's a window that you can look into where you could see people who are agreeing in prayer together in spirit. You see them. It's like their prayers, you know, like it's like they're just standing there in prayer. And all of these people are praying about the same thing. You can see these things taking place while you're in heaven.
Oh, wow.
And that's what, you know, pushed me to be such, you know, a person who always prayed. You know, like, if, you know, I would go to church. I was very young back then, but I would go to church maybe because it was just Easter. And, you know, my friends or, you know, my family that I would go with, they would see me. I would zone out. I would be the person with my eyes closed for 2 hours constantly. I would be the person who was not involved with what was going on around me because I was so into this spiritual prayer moment that I could give God, where, you know, the rest of the 22 hours is spent running around the earth doing a bunch of worldly nothing things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
yes.
But yep, very important.
Very.
Now, let's get back to talking about them buildings. I'm not going to interrupt anymore.
Well, thank you, GirlCode. You blessed all of us. Well, GirlCode is back. She's not leaving the chat. Don't leave the chat atmosphere, please.
I'm not.
Okay.
Stick with her, guys. I'm sorry about that. Okay,
I love it. Okay. Love you. Okay, so this is more of Philadelphia City Hall. It looks like a cake to me. I don't know. It looks like a wedding cake when I look at it from this angle. I don't know. I'm just being imaginative. And look at that angle. Is that stunning? Very impressive. And I know you've seen it on movies like, you know, Trading Places with Eddie Murphy. Yeah, you've seen City Hall, Philadelphia. So this is I think this is a commerce, um, either museum or it was initially a commerce bank, or not initially. No, they didn't have banks when they did this kind of construction. It was something that they used it, the controllers, they co-opted it for commerce or something. Okay. So we already know the initial uh, purposes for these buildings are, we'll talk about that at another time, but I know a lot of you that are the Tartarian fans, you know about this stuff. But look at this right here. This is the Academy of Fine Arts in Philadelphia. Just take it in. Is that amazing? And okay, I'm probably going to step on toes right now, but you know how I told you that I don't believe the slave narrative anymore? And I think that if you have to keep telling people that this is their history and you're doing it, and every time you turn around, Oprah is tied up with a scarf on and she's, you ain't this and you better free me, and all this slave this and slave that and slave this. Every year, right? A new slave movie comes out, so your white people are feeling guilty, and you're going through your white guilt, some of you, and black people are getting like angry and traumatized over an experience that they don't have in their DNA. Okay, not everybody was enslaved. Okay, and the narrative of slavery, we're going to have to get that together as well. Okay, because we have been lied to so much. So I do not believe in their narratives, and I don't care if Steven Spielberg continues to make slave movies and Oprah. I don't believe it. Okay, that is me personally. So I now have to put everything on the table, and I have to reevaluate everything I've been told, down to who built the White House, who really built all of these structures. Because if you look at this picture right here, like I said, you need a lot of technology of a high order to build these buildings. And if you look at those, I don't know, are they supposed to be slaves? And what do they have? Like wheelbarrows and hammers and pieces of wood? And what are you going to do and build those structures with that type of material and that type of technology? I can't make it make sense. Okay, people. And I don't care who gets upset. I don't believe the slave narrative anymore. And I have, yeah, Harpo. Who this woman that don't believe the slave narrative? Who this woman? And you know, these people that love the slave narratives, they will call you a coon. They'll call you a bed wench. They'll call you a mammy. What else are the names that they like to call you when you don't go along with the programming? Okay. It doesn't make sense to me anymore. I was programmed to believe it and get upset about something when we've all been slaves. How about that? So, Boys High, Central High School in Philadelphia, that was the original Central High School. Remember, I told you that the girls have infiltrated Central High, so it's no longer just for boys, and it's no longer in this building right here. In fact, I don't know what happened to this building. It's probably one of those one of those mysterious fires or something. You know, they have all kinds of weird things that happen. So this is the Bourse building down in Philadelphia. Beautiful building. But what I want to bring to your attention is, if you look below the red brick and stone, rather, the one down at the bottom is in Germany. So it's the exact same, almost like replica, very similar. So right now in the Bourse, you can go in and shop. It looks like a freaking mall, and you can go and get all kinds of food. They have a food court. So this is the kind of like mundane stuff that they have repurpose these amazing buildings with. Can you imagine you're going to go get an Annie's pretzel in the Bourse building in this amazing architecture, and you're gonna go to like Abercrombie and go buy some cheap stuff made in China. Like, okay, is this what it is, everybody? Because it doesn't make any sense that you would have malls, which, by the way, the malls in America, they seem to be dying on the vine. I'm just saying, it could be me, but I think that that's going to be a bygone era. But anyway, yeah, malls. So that's what you have in the bourse. And I'll just read real quick what the bourse was. So they have, it's modeled after the bourse in Hamburg, Germany. Okay. So it's a Beaux Art style. And this is when the story gets really strange, because they won't tell you when was it constructed. Can we get a picture of the construction? No, they have some narrative, and they'll say it was opened in, or it was the architect came up with the design. Like, they do a lot of playing, and they don't really, I'm just saying, it's strange. You hate the mall? I do too, Marie. I've always hated the mall. I used to try to lie to myself and act like I liked the mall, only because my friends like the mall. But I always like going to little boutiques, like a one-of-a-kind boutique that's owned by one person or family, that's more personal. I've always liked that. Or, I like farmers markets and things like that. I really like those. But anyway, that's the bourse. And University of Pennsylvania, look at that structure. Look at that and tell me what Adam says. I love the mall and not buying anything. Okay, I'm not knocking you. The mall has a certain energy. So it could be, I know some people like the malls. Let's turn malls into giant grow houses, organic food. I like that, please. Tracy, hey sis, too many stupid people all in one place, except for Adam. He's the only bright one in the mist. Okay. GirlCode loves the malls too. I love the mall. I'm a mess. We love you. So it's two smart people, okay, Tracy, that are in the malls. Okay, so look at the University of Pennsylvania. This is supposed to be a place of high learning. But remember, I did a live stream where they are allowing a man to swim and beat all the records right now at University of Pennsylvania. This is do you see where our whole culture and society has jumped the shark? Because this is a place of higher learning for all the smarties, right? All the real big brain people. But they don't think that it's strange to let a man who just got off of hormone blockers just for 1 year, he did compete as a man for 2 years, and he came in like second place and all this other stuff. He won, okay, as a man. For those that think that he couldn't win as a man, no, he was doing really well as a man. But he became a woman, and now he's swimming in the tears of all the women. And that's happening at good old University of Pennsylvania. So there you are. There is their culture. Like I said, it is degenerating so fast that it is an absolute circus. Okay. So I can't imagine having children in these Ivy League universities and paying these high exorbitant prices. So your kids will be so confused. Your children. Look at that. You're sending them away so they come back Marxist, socialist, communists. They will hate you. They will hate everything about themselves. They will hate being white. They will hate being black. They will hate being girls, hate being boys. They hate America. What else? They learn hate, I guess. That's what they learn at these places. They learn hate. So that's, you get back a different child when they come back. So there you are. And this is also on the University of Pennsylvania's campus. Look at that. We have Benjamin Franklin now. Yeah. And this is Lincoln Drive for those that know a little bit about Philadelphia. And look at that bridge right there. Is that amazing? Lincoln Drive, if you think you can drive, I dare you to drive on Lincoln Drive. Okay. 1 minute. I got to turn on some more lights. Okay. It got dark all of a sudden. I'm going to turn on a light. Hold on and just think about driving on Lincoln Drive. It's like a snake. Very, very, very tricky. Okay, I think I have a good light source going on here. All right, so Lincoln Drive, for those that don't know, it is very treacherous and it's right along the water. And in the winter, you could see these huge icicles everywhere. And there was an apartment building, because I used to live on one side of it called Germantown. And the other side is Mount Airy. So I've lived on both sides of Lincoln Drive. But Lincoln Drive had this apartment building. So when I was a little girl and I was in the car and we're driving and going all along Lincoln Drive, I would look at this building. And that's why I'm saying these buildings, you see how GirlCode gave that testimony and our sister Sharon gave that word. It's something about these buildings that we have been drawn to. So as a little girl, I would look at this building and it was really a tall one. And right now, I cannot remember the name of this building. If you're from Philadelphia, I would really appreciate if you know what I'm talking about and you know the name of that building, because I want to research it. Because guess what, people? They took it down. It no longer stands. And this was a tall one. So if anybody's from Philly and you know what I'm talking about, if you're driving down Lincoln Drive and you're going towards the city and it was on the right side, I can't remember, maybe around Green Street. On the right side, it was a tall apartment building, like a really like luxurious apartment building. Very tall, so you could see it, like it was imposing. But it was one of these architectural beauties. And I remember when we would drive, I don't know the year they took it down, but something in my spirit, I knew that something didn't make sense about that, because I used to dream about one day living in there. I was like, I want to live inside that building. I want to go inside. I never had an opportunity to go inside, but it was something about it. I just wanted to go inside it. And when I learned that they took it down, it might have been when I went to college. You know, when you leave your hometown and things change. And I'm like, there was something there. You don't know sometimes right away if you've been away for a while, but you know that something is missing. And I asked them, what happened to that apartment building? Oh, nobody really cares. Like, they're like, whatever. That's how they have programmed us to think about the old world. Like, you know, you're like not really concerned because you're more into the new world. But I was grieving and I was angry, and I didn't understand why I was angry. Why did they take that building down? Because I knew it wasn't a good reason. That building was so strong, so sturdy. There would be no reason to take that down. What would be a good reason? Give me, please. Hello, 8 Wind is timeless. Thank you for joining. This is the part 2. I'm going to take my time. If I take a little while, hang on, everybody. It's the holidays, right? Give me a break, please. So anyway, back to this bridge on Lincoln Drive. This was the notorious drive when you heard about the singer Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy Pendergrass, now I'm going to get a little messy, okay, and spill a little Philadelphia tea. Teddy Pendergrass was, you know, he was big time back in the 70s. Like, you know, this guy was like making women, you talk about MK Ultra. Teddy Pendergrass, he would have concerts. Now, I'm young. This is just hearsay. This is what I didn't know about this. I wasn't allowed to go to any of his concerts. I wasn't old enough, but I remember people talking about his concerts, and they said that he would perform and women would throw their underwear at him. Okay. I know that's, maybe Elvis had that happen and other singers, but what kind of MK mind control is that when you're going to pull your panties off and throw them at them, which I don't think that's not very polite, ladies, to throw your underwear at singers. But you loved him, Marie. You loved him. A lot of people loved him. Okay. He crossed all the, yes, Keck. I don't know why we're saying Keck, but I like that. You heard that also, Cece. They would throw their bras, their panties, and I don't know, anything, right? You know about this story. Okay. He crashed his car, Teddy Pendergrass, who had a huge mansion, by the way. He probably lived in something that, like we're talking about, he had like so many rooms he never went into. And he was driving his, I think it was a Rolls Royce or something. And the car got out of control because the rumor is that he was having some things done by a transgendered person, and these are things that you wouldn't do if you want to focus on the road. And he got in an accident, and there were other people in the car. I'm not going to get that messy, but yeah, there were some other people in the car that were kind of ushered out, and it never hit the newspapers. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy thing. So, it's like one of those things in Philly. People always remember the drive with Teddy Pendergrass. And unfortunately, that accident left him, he was a quad. Yeah. So he was in a wheelchair after that. It was really sad. This is a man who lived the high life. And how I say, people make their Faustian deal. People pay a very high price for that, the world, I'll say. He would have all women at a concert. Yeah, I think I think a man wouldn't have felt comfortable going to a Teddy Pendergrass concert, right? Too much. It was for the women, for the ladies. And yes, here we are, 30th Street Station. This is a travel like a place, a portal, if you want to say. This is where we take the train in Philly. We go to Boston, we go to New York, we go to DC, we go anywhere. All points, right? So this is 30th Street Station. And look at that. Wow. Very, very tall columns there. I wonder why. What's going on there? What kind of tools would you need to do this type of project? Look at that. Marble floors. Or they're not marble. What is that? Is that the dolomite and everything? But it's marble also. There's a lot of amazing stone that the stonemasons must know about. And look at the 30th Street Station next to a modern building. I believe that building is Comcast. Am I right or wrong? Can somebody fact check me? I think that's the Comcast building, but look at it next to this building. It's not even real fancy, but it makes that Comcast new building, to me, it's a joke. I don't know, but I'm just saying, new construction, new architecture cannot compete with this. It's just no way. This is really on another level. And look at that, aerial view. And you just have to look at how people plan this city, right along the Delaware River, just everything about it. And you can see off to the right. If you look to the right, you will see the art museum. Look at those buildings. Like, wow, right? And then you look at the new stuff and it's like, what the heck? Hey, Roxanne, new building actually looks like a hologram. That's a good point. Very good point. I astral traveled to the new glass building in New York City. Oh, did you? Wow. Hey, avert thy mortal eyes. What a nice name. Tartaria. Thank you. That's indeed. So, I just want to show you the new and the old school. And this right here is in Boston. This is where we take the train and we go to Boston. And this is a museum in Boston. And our sister GirlCode knows a lot about this building. This is one of the buildings she grew up with. Like I grew up with the Philadelphia Museum of Art. We went on our school trips and we were those kids that were very excited. And the kids that were, hemming and hawing and upset about we have to go on another field trip to the art museum, we were celebrating because we couldn't wait to get back inside of these structures. So this is Boston. And again, here you go. Look at that, the interior of that. Wow. Fine arts. And look at that. Is that amazing? The courtyard. It's amazing. And look at all of those columns. And this is a church in Boston. Amazing. I just want you to take it in. It probably reminds you of places where you live. You can drop it in there and you'll just see that a lot doesn't make sense. So here is a juxtaposition, you could say. This is in Philadelphia, this is the Independence Hall. This is where you'll find our articles of, our Constitution was signed there, Bill of Rights, and all kinds of interesting things. And it's really beautiful to go inside. I did a video live stream from there. Do you all remember? And the bell started ringing at some point. It was really powerful. But I was causing trouble because I didn't want to wear a mask inside when they were doing like a little lecture. So I just did my scarf and everything, and they were really angry at me. I was the only one without a surgical mask on. You watched that, Dana? Yes, I moved that over to, it's either on BitChute or Rumble, but I moved it over there just, we're tap dancing around the censorship. So if you're looking for that, it's on Rumble. And there you are, the new skyline, and then you look at that old building. Is there any way that they could ever build this stuff again? That skyline in Philadelphia is impressive to some people, but I love my old Philadelphia. Give me old Philadelphia any day. You could keep your new buildings. And so this is another place in Philadelphia that I want to mention. It is not on the surface what they claim that it is, and that would be the zoo. So this zoo is one of the first zoos in America. Not that, I know that people feel a certain way about zoos, and I have changed the way, I don't know, I changed a whole lot of things, the way I look at stuff. But this zoo is also not just a zoo, but it's a horticultural center as well. But most people just think about it as a zoo. But I want you to look at the buildings, just the little buildings that are even right there at the zoo. I mean, you get the sense that something is just really up here, okay? Even if you're just new to this and you're opening your eyes, it's everywhere. It was all over in front of our face. And this is an old picture of it says the Zoological Gardens, Philadelphia. So look at that. Is that stunning? So it's like a postcard. You say it looks Swedish? Yeah, I mean, all of that architecture. Oh, we have somebody in the house that is using Russian script, Russian letters. Not sure what that means, but can you translate? I haven't been keeping up with my Russian lessons. So look at the zoo, another drawing. Pretty amazing, right? And this is another just little thing that if you have your eyes focused, you'll see in a different way. Look at the elephant structure right there. Look at the stone and just, would you have just these buildings just for, I don't know, constructed to have animals. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's interesting, but look at all of it, the details, the gables and all of these cupolas, chimneys. I don't know, do the elephants like to have like fireplace chats or something? Hey, Mala, you made it. You said I'm Swedish and I don't think it looks Swedish. Oh, okay. Well, Mala lives in Sweden. And you know what? GirlCode and I want to go all around the world. So we're probably going to wind up looking at your buildings in Sweden and just marveling at some of the stuff that you have over there as well. But thank you for joining, Mala. I'm so glad you're here. Look at that, family. We are connected. And just like these buildings connect us, this old world shows us that these people were connected. They weren't divided up like this sick cabal does to humanity. No, there was unity. And again, this is the Philadelphia Zoo. Look at that door. It's an office, but just look at the door and look at the place where you pay for your tickets or redeem your tickets. The little booth there. Is that gorgeous? You said elephants made like a nice fireplace. Who knew? There you are, right? Who knew? Have a little fireplace chats. Okay, so this is the Reading Street Terminal for anybody who knows Philly. The building is, again, amazing. And inside, they have a farmer's market. You can, go get all kinds of iconic food that you would think of in Philly. And that is one of my favorite places. If I were to take you on a real Jenny tour in Philly, we would wind up here for lunch, okay? My treat, you get a pretzel. You would have to get a pretzel. And what would I require you? This is the one time I'm going to be really bossy. What must you eat on that pretzel? Does anybody know? Who understands? What would you put on that pretzel? You love that taxi? Yeah, right. The 777 taxi. I know you see those all over. Yes, they divided and conquered us, but it's over. They haven't won. They haven't won. So what do you, yeah, there you are. You are my people. Oh my God. Dana said, what are we going to do with Dana? She said cream cheese. Dana and Denise, what is the reason for the treason? Cheese? Empress said butter, even though I love butter. Empress, butter. Okay, look, caramel. And she's from Boston? Oh my God. If you said mustard, you are not going to anger the Philadelphians, okay? When you come to Philadelphia, you must put mustard on your soft pretzel. I can't imagine what would happen to you if you went in there and said it would be like being in the South and putting sugar in your grits. Who would do that? Who really treasures their life and limb? Who would put sugar in their grits? Do you know that is an offense if you're in the South? Cannot do that. So anyway, yes. So the Amish, because they have that Germanic, right? That influence. So you look at even their architecture, very nice, beautiful. If you go into areas like Lancaster, that was another place we took school trips to Lancaster. And oh, the food is so amazing. And I know we've joked about becoming Amish, right? The Amish, although I know people will say they're not perfect, but I think they got a lot right when it comes down to their relationship with government. Okay, so I'll say, oh, Dave, we have somebody bougie up in here. He said Grey Poupon. Grey Poupon on your mustard pretzels, your soft pretzels. Okay, you're fancy. He's a very expensive date, everybody. Dave is a very expensive date. So that's, that's what you would experience at the farmers market. You would see a lot of Amish business people there. That's where they come and bring their good produce and things. So it's a very fun place. And if you know about Bassett ice cream, look at the date. It's from the 1800s. So there, yeah, I'm going to do more deep diving on the 1800s, but a lot happened, a whole lot. So this is John Wanamaker. My mother spent lots of time and money in this place. She was pretty much a shopaholic. Okay, so this is all pre-mall. When you went to these places, they were very fancy, and I don't know if that building was, the initial intent was for John Wanamaker to sell his wares. But of course, the people that hijacked these structures, they turned them into big money-making opportunities. So you have, look at that. I mean, do you look at those things on the top? Looks like Russia, right? Looks like a Moorish type of architecture, all of this stuff. So just wanted to show you that original dry goods store. It was on 13th and Market. And you could get another look at it in a picture form, photography. Thank you. And yes, so right around the Industrial Revolution, that's when world power and domination began. You had World War I, World War II, this war, that war everywhere, war, Vietnam, Korea. You have the Gulf of everything, Tonkin. You have the Gulf of everything, right? Every Gulf we are having wars in. Poppy fields in Afghanistan, all of this stuff. Annexing of countries, and they keep you so confused. If you grew up learning that this was the name of a country, they changed it, and it keeps you off, just you don't know what's going on. That's all done by design to keep us in a state of confusion. We don't know what the map looks like. They divide it. They divide the people. They go in and start conflicts. So you have, like I said, you have Pakistan and India fighting. You have this one and that one fighting. You have North Korea, South Korea fighting, all because of nation building. During the Industrial Revolution, this small cabal, they went into hyperdrive to get all of the pieces on the Monopoly board. Casino Royale. They wanted to get it all done in a short period of time because his time is short. That's why they're making so many bumbling mistakes and they look like a clown show, is because they, first of all, they're not creative. We've already established that. But they also don't have love and logic and beauty. They don't have these things, and creativity. So everything they do, everything woke turns to, there you are. They jump the shark, and there's no end to the stupidity and just lack of anything good. So the Great Gatsby is mentioned a lot because even though this was like turn of the century literature by F. Scott Fitzgerald, the basic story that you can take from the lessons from the Great Gatsby, because they went into this sort of gilded era, and you have the flapper girls and it looked like it was all fun. And if you read the Great Gatsby or you looked at the movie, one of the things about the Great Gatsby that we learn is that during the Industrial Revolution and the competitiveness that comes out of, I want to climb to the top, I want to have all the money, I want to have all the toys. So basically what happens is it turns into a lonely place. You're not connected anymore with humanity in your heart, because they put us on this gerbil wheel to get all of the material goods. But again, like I said, you can go and get the stuff, but 2 minutes later, you feel empty. Because what it does is it takes the meaning out of life. And that's what their system does. It takes the meaning out of life. And that's why we're seeing the young people committing suicide, in depression. We're seeing it at such a high rate because the meaning of life gets pulled when we go in this direction of the Great Gatsby, of always wanting all of this gold and material. And it is nihilistic. You know, if you read the literature, it's all very dark. It leads to a dark place. And this is why we have to get back to being humans. And look at we talked about this the other day. They have something called the sarcopod. And this is what has happened. The meaning has been taken from life. It's been stripped because we have been separated from our history, our true history. And you have to know your past and your history so that life will be more meaningful. Of course, your connection to God, you're going to want to be connected to the goodness that God brings, and you will choose life and not death. This is a sarcopod, Jack, and it is something that has been devised over in, where is it? Over in Switzerland, I believe, or don't quote me, but you could look it up. Sarcopod stands for sarcophagus. So they are selling this for people who want to end their lives. And you can take it out. Look at it. It's in a field somewhere, and it lets in a gas. And they had a woman in there. She was holding a bouquet, and she had a glass of wine or something. So what? She's just going to be out there looking at the world that she's leaving, and drink a glass of wine, have her flowers, and let the gases come in. So this will also turn into a coffin as well. Okay. It's in the Netherlands. Thank you. The Netherlands. That's where they devised this. So a lot of people in the Netherlands, they have reported a lot of depression. And why is that? All of the depression all around. And so this is Wanamaker's. This is where my mother used to take me to go shopping. Look at how beautiful that is. And that organ was at the time the largest pipe organ in the world. So they say that pipe organ music has a frequency that is very healing. So you can see now why we don't hear pipe organs anymore. They call it the king of sound. So I just wanted to, excuse me, I have to take a little sip, okay? That's my honey and lemon. So anyway, yeah, just wanted to show you the John Wanamaker's building, and look at that. Beautiful. Can't imagine it was designed for a department store again. I'll keep saying that. And look at the inside of I think this is the Academy of Fine Arts. I mean, in Philadelphia, we have so many museums, but doesn't that look very Moorish? Like, I would think that I got in a plane and went over to Morocco, very Moorish. Yeah. And I'm going to talk about the Moors as well. And that's the outside of the building. Again, they want us to believe that these were temporary structures just put up in 2 years' time or 6 months or whatever. Tesla Healing 369. Okay. The Vatican changed the sounds on purpose. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah. They did a lot, didn't they? And look at some of the things that are in the decor of this home. I want to talk about Mackenzie and Childs. I used to work at a Mackenzie and Childs in New York, but a lot of their home furnishings and things, they give me like this kind of feeling that they were trying to elicit certain, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, they have the, of course, the checkerboard. We know a lot about that. And this is a store in Philadelphia. We're, of course, still in Philly. We took like a little turn and we were in Boston, but we're still in Philly. So this is called Boyd's. It's a store for men, and it is very expensive and well known, but it's called Boyd's. And look at the columns and everything. It's the building that it's in. It's quite amazing place. Now, this I'm going to talk about. This is the high school that I graduated from. I was in the magnet program. It's Germantown High School. Look at that building. And I want to tell you again, to all the city planners in Philadelphia, shame on you. This building is now abandoned. It is another abandoned building in Philadelphia. And look at that. Can you imagine this was a high school? And what they did to the neighborhood, basically all of the social engineering, you had rival gangs that rose up pretty big in the 70s. And there was a lot of gang warfare that went on in these neighborhoods, like between brick whatever and Germantown and all these different gangs. So they had a lot of gang warfare. You weren't even allowed to go to the they stopped the lunch program because of all the violence. And basically they didn't care about the school. Of course, the Board of Education in Philadelphia, shame on them, terrible. And so this building is now sitting and rotting. So they want to possibly turn it into low income housing. I mean, they don't know what they're going to do with themselves in Philadelphia. But I just want you to look at this. This is Germantown High. Bill Cosby, I think he went there for a little while. Then he went to Central. But yeah, a lot of notable Philadelphians used to go to this school. It used to be a rather good school, and it turned into a horrible place. So yeah, they call it blight. Yes, they do it on purpose. It's very purposeful. Hey, Julianne, dang, Jen, I'm late. You'll rewatch. That's right. Don't worry. We're going a little bit late. You could rewatch it. You could pause it. You could have something. I just want you to see the new architecture that they tried to put on to Germantown High. So this was part of Germantown High. Look at this new architecture compared to, I mean, come on, let's go back and look. Okay, so that's the original. Wait a minute. And then they added this on. I mean, okay. And look at that. They added that on to the high school so they could warehouse more people. I mean, you can even look at the church, the little bit of the church that's right next to it with the red door. And you can see like the difference in architecture, like just with that little piece of, you can see, do you see what I'm saying? Just a little piece of that church, it blows away the new architecture, right? You said ugly. Wow, fugly, right? How could you go to school? Like, this looks like a prison, right? It's federal style. Yes. Yes, so I just wanted you to see some of the decisions that are made in Philadelphia. And this is something I want to talk about more, but I just wanted to share with you. This is the church where my parents were married, okay? This is where they were married in Philly, West Philadelphia. So this is called the Church of the Transfiguration. And I guess you can guess what happened to this church. Can you guess? Is it a long shot to imagine what's happened to this church? There you are, Alex, for 200. Can I get blighted for 200 and abandoned for 200, Alex? Because that's what's happened to this church where my parents were married. And, you can look at the architecture, okay? So they've taken it down. They've taken it down. But look at that. Look at what they've allowed to happen. Look at that. I just want you to look at the architecture and just see that something ain't right. Look at that column right there. And if you look at the top of the column and you look at the detail work and look at the lamps, the lighting fixtures rather that are hanging, and look at the pipe organ. What did we just say about pipe organs? But this is inside the Church of the Transfiguration that is now rotting. It is rotting. Yes, it is. So, yeah, what in the world is going on, America? We were too busy to see that this was all deliberate. They want the old world to go away so they can put up their new structures, and they want all this to just crumble. And why is it that they want this to happen? It's stunning, yes, isn't it? So I just wanted you to see, even in its dilapidated state, you can look at the former glory. You say it happens in Sweden too? It's the same. So this is worldwide. That's why we're all waking up, because they are not going to be able to continue this. His time is short. That's what I want you to realize. His time is short. It's winding down. Organs gave good vibes. They did. Hey, John, you said we need to get over our petty differences and love each other as brothers and sisters. I agree. And that's happening, okay? It is happening, whether they like it or not. So this again, look at the church pews. Look at this. Look at this church that they just, what in the world? What kind of people do this kind of stuff? And they disregard all of this workmanship. What kind of people? That's kind of spooky, right? But it's like, basements are a big thing in Philadelphia and stuff. Diana says it's happening in England big time. Okay, so we have someone over in England. It's happening there. So there you are. Bernadette is saying to erase history so they can allow their immoral ways to be the new old. There you are. Roxanne is saying steel and glass, cheap and easy to monitor. Yes. Hey, Patrice, people were completely healed by the organ frequencies. Look at that. So there you are. And Emily is saying they want the fake evil metaverse. Oh, hell no. That's right. They want all of that artificial stuff. I mean, this is real craftsmanship and artisans that do this work. And there you can see more of the columns, the detail work. This is in the church. I'm amazed at the column and the colors and everything. And look at the dome that has the religious art. It's awful. Yep. So I just want you to take in, if this is new to you, I want you to go down this road of research and just, me and GirlCode have some fun activities we wanted to embark on. So this is like, okay, we're going back to the museum again. I want you to look at a few pieces of art because this is kind of funny to me. It's like, they did a lot of memes off of this, like teach me how to Dougie. But this is like, some of that art in which people are posing again. So this is paintings, but it's like this sort of posing, and I don't know, it's just it's kind of funny to me. This is kind of a self-portrait, they're saying. So the guy is writing. I guess he's an author. And then you have one guy that's pointing to the page and he has the lighting just right. Look at that. This is supposed to be self-portraits, okay? This really outdoes Instagram, okay? If you could do a self-portrait. And I guess they wanted to send somebody some receipts like, I wrote the book, I'm going to do a self-portrait while I'm writing my book. Doesn't that seem strange again to you? I mean, I'm kind of tripping off of this art right now. He didn't take a picture of himself and do this, but how did he look in a mirror and pose? I don't know. My head is just kind of tripping over that. Do you see what I'm talking about? Or am I tripping? But it just looks, he said it looks like the millennials do when they post. There's really nothing new under the sun, people, okay? So these are self-portraits, selfies. And look at him. He looks like he's saying, look, I sent you the money, I wrote it in the ledger, and I did a self-portrait. Those are my receipts, okay? And I posted it in the chapel. They used a mirror. Okay, think mirror. They used a mirror. That's so weird. So, Emily, you're with me that this kind of seems a little weird to do because you know how long it has to take to do a portrait and to do a portrait of yourself. I don't know. It's just Bernadette, do you see? I don't know. I'm going to start looking at everything different now. Just this world is a stage, everybody. Hey, Alex, can I get crisis actors for 200? I'm being silly. Look at her. She said she's not going to let the boys get all the attention with these self-portraits. My girl over here, old girl, she is painting, okay? And she's doing a self-portrait of herself painting, okay? And the girl on the right, I'm just imagining this is her album. She said, I'm going to take this self-portrait for my album that's about to drop, okay? Okay? She's like, I don't know. Who would she be like the equivalent to? She's like Adele, okay? This is the Adele of her time. Hey, Losha, I'm being silly. I have to be a little silly. She said, put it on my. Oh, John said that the we have a Russian bot. The things that the left is always complaining about, I actually have a Russian bot in here. Oh my goodness. She's giving shoulder. She sure is. She's doing the cold shoulder on y'all. Nothing is new under the sun. Okay. Nothing is new. All right. So these are called self-portraits. What in the heck, people? Oh, now these two right here. Are you going? Okay. For the women that have wigs and stuff, these dudes had wigs, okay? They had wigs and curls, Shirley curly curls, and these are self-portraits. Look at him. You can't tell this guy anything right here. You can't tell him anything. He knows that he is it, okay? He is it. And this one here with the hat, what can you tell him? Look at that. He's got a little doggy in his lap. Again, these are self-portraits. Again, what the heck? What in the heck is going on right now? I have been down this rabbit hole. Oh, I just have to make you laugh here. I looked at this self-portrait, some kind of self-portrait. It was an engagement self-portrait from that era. And then I wanted to juxtapose it with like a modern couple that are doing an engagement photo, okay, with the cat. Who said this was a good idea? I don't know. They seem like a fun couple, but it just shows you the modern take as opposed to the more serious kind of time. To do an engagement photo like that, I don't know if you regret it later. Were you like, did you lose a bet? What happened that would make you want to do that? Are you still together? Is this a marriage that lasts? Can you tell me? What is going on? Okay. If anybody thinks that we are evolving as a culture, voila. Exhibit number 1, okay? 2 engagement portraits or photos, and yeah, modern man. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. And it gets better. Can you imagine these were ideas for your engagement photos that you send to your friends and family? This is what modernity does for you. You have such a fun sense of humor, and later on, what do? You put this on your mantle, and your kids are looking and cringing like, Mom, you really did take a picture like this for your engagement photos. And look at the bride who looks like she rolled out of a bar. What the heck? I mean, this is how marriage is treated in our society. It's just one big joke, right? One big joke. It's that's we can't be surprised at the outcome of this kind of society. And one of the people I love a lot, who he breaks the fifth wall, because I've been talking about that. Like, I've had the illusion, like the celebrity illusion is already broken. I don't look at them they're not special. They're annoying, and they're like everybody else, okay? I don't look at them and I'm not impressed anymore. I know that's happened to to a lot of you had she said she's dying and crying. I just want you to laugh a little bit. Tracy said a wheelbarrow, right? A wheelbarrow is basically the kind of tools that the people had to build all these structures. They had a hammer and a wheelbarrow, and we're supposed to believe that they carried all of those stones, right? So yeah, it's kind of apropos. So anyway, I like Adam Ruins Everything. Does anybody like Adam Ruins Everything? Because this right here has helped, I'm sure, countless people. If it's like controlled opposition, I just think it's done really well, and it just breaks that fifth wall down. You like that? It breaks the fifth wall down. He basically ruins everything, and I love that he ruins everything. Hey, Jola, she looks more like she was left at the altar. So she was left at the altar. Maybe that was it. Oh, the Russian bots are here. Let me get this Russian bot out of here. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the topic attracted them. I don't know. But if I see a Russian bot, I'll get rid of them. I have to give you guys mod, what are they, the wrenches? If I give you a wrench, just know you're not building anything with it, okay? Can't build a Tartarian thing with a wrench, okay? But we could get rid of some trolls, okay? So I got one troll blocked, okay? So I'm going to figure out how to mod people up when I'm on StreamYard. I know how to do it if I went live from YouTube. I just don't know how to do it in StreamYard. So if anybody knows, drop it in there. I'm still learning all these little things. So anyway, I want to talk about Adam Ruins Everything. Does anybody watch it? Who else likes Adam Ruins Everything? Okay, so one of the things I want to bring up that he ruined by, again, like I say, breaking the fifth wall. He talked about wine snobs. Are you a wine snob? I used to kind of be a wine snob, or kind of a little bitty piece of a wine snob. Like when I worked in pharmaceuticals, I would have to do a lot of wine tastings with this one doctor. She was like real important in my territory, so I'd have to do the wine thing and all that. But he did a special on wine. Did anybody watch it? Okay. He said that wine basically it's really no difference in the quality. All that stuff is made up. It's just a bunch of phoniness. Like, we live in such a matrix that we literally have wine snobs, people that are wine connoisseurs. And we have to just sort of laugh at ourselves at this point, because it's really silly, and it's one way to feel like you're better than somebody and you know more about wines. And oh, it's a French wine. Oh, it came from California. It came from here. It's grape juice. Get over yourself. It's fermented grape juice, okay? And it just has pretty, I am really into arts and stuff, so I like all the artsy labels and all that. That's really creative. I like that part of it. But I'm just saying that they did like a little experiment, and they had people tasting wine, and they were trying to say, oh, it has like it's like a woodland squirrely taste. Oh, I taste a little cinnamon. Oh, let me smell it and just swirl it around. Oh yes, it has some fruity notes, right? What do they sound like, wine snobs, right? Oh, really fruity notes, and a high note and a low note and a mid note. Oh, the mid note is chocolate. Oh, it's chocolate from Bali, from Indonesia. Oh yeah. No, I think it's chocolate from Africa. Do you think it's fair use? I'm just saying, like, it's so, yeah, citrus and leather and dirt. I mean, it's all ridiculous. And you know what? He caught the wine connoisseur. He didn't even know his wines. Like, he thought that he was lying. He was being like phony. And you could have like store like what is it, grocery store wine in a box, and you could have the fancy smanchy stuff, and you put it in front of these phony people, and they'll make over the box wine like it. Oh my goodness, it's apricot notes. Ooh, wow. So I like this guy. He is really doing a good work for our culture because he's breaking down lies. And again, like I said, he could be controlled opposition, but I particularly enjoyed this wine snob thing that he did. It was Mad Dog 2020. Yeah, this stuff is all the same, okay? So it's no, mead is great. Check out Machination. He is a mead maker and jack of all trades, gamer, but he's got some original music and well-told personal stories. Oh, thank you for sharing. I love when you all share. So yeah, so here you are, the wine snobs. Oh, we're going to have such a better society when we get rid of all this pretension. And again, 1984 is being rewritten. I just want to give you an update if you hadn't seen this. 1984 is going to be rewritten from a feminist standpoint and narrative. Can you imagine? A feminist narrative. The estate of Orwell gave the green light to allow the book to be rewritten. Now, if that's not an Ouroboros of irony, can you tell me a better ironic twist to this horrible book? Is that it's going to be rewritten? That's when dystopia has jumped the shark, okay? It's jumped the shark. This man warned about rewriting history and rewriting books in his book about dystopia. Like, you can't make this up. Like, this is just like, it's such a clown show at this point, okay? I don't know, people. What are we going to do besides laugh at them? But anyway, this is a nice picture to kind of end on. Let me go back to it, where you see the old and the new. This is Philadelphia along the Schuylkill River. Some people call it the Schuylkill River, the Schuylkill. It's called Schuylkill River. Schuylkill. Practice saying that. Schuylkill. So if you're going on a Jenny tour, I don't want to hear you say Schuylkill or anything like that. Okay, you'll have to practice Schuylkill. Schuylkill. All right, so there you are, the boathouse row, and we're, these are for boats, okay? And the University of Penn, they use these boathouses and things. They have regattas and things on the river. Nice things, And who else? University of Penn, Villanova, all of those schools, they have their boathouses. And the rowing people, what do they call that? Rowing people. Schuylkill, yes. You got it, Abby. Schuylkill or Schuylkill. You could get real fancy with it. Schuylkill. You are very good. You're very good. You pass. You get the John Award. You become a John. So look at that again. They've tried miserably to build their modern new school buildings, but look at that old world architecture. It just blows it away, blows it away. So that is my presentation. I think that's it. That's it for now. I will be putting together some more things. One of the things I want to say that GirlCode had a great idea. We want to have you go out to your cities and take pictures, right? Is that the idea, GirlCode? You all go to your beautiful Tartarian, all of this beautiful architecture, and take pictures and share it. And we want to do some further like trips into some more areas. So we covered just a little bit of Boston. I think we should cover Boston a little more, of course. Boston reminds me of Philly. It's like a sister city to Philadelphia. And also Savannah, Georgia, for anybody who's never been. Savannah, Georgia also has a lot of architecture that looks just like Philadelphia, just like Boston. It's amazing. So that is all for now. We have hung out kind of late, but I told you I was going to go over. And yeah, you're in Indianapolis. Take some pictures, Dana. Teach us about your beautiful architecture. St. Germain in Boston, St. Germain Street in Boston. Oh, it sounds pretty. Thank you, Bernadette. Thanks so much for coming by. Thank you, Emily. Love you. Love you. Kisses and hugs to you, Sharon. Sharon, thanks for that sweet word that you shared with our good sister. That was really powerful, and I really appreciated that. And we're going to have some more great conversations. I want to see if I had anything else. I think I pretty much covered a lot of the stuff that I wanted to talk about today. And we will just know that evil, this is their last hoedown, okay? Remember I said pimps down, hoes down? They're not winning anymore. Don't get fooled, okay? It's all smoke and mirrors. They're not winning. So this is the evil's, you want to say the devil, Satan. This is his last hoedown. His time is short. That's why they're doing it. They have to reveal all of their hand. They're going for broke, okay? These are the hedonists, the material people, they just love the world so much. They sell their soul for the world. They lose their soul. So this is it for them. So that's why they're coming out from the shadows, like I said, and they believe that they can prolong their time, but they run out of tricks, okay? It's the last hoedown for them, okay? And just know that for us, we're heading into goodness, okay? For the ones that have chosen life, you've chosen correctly. Just keep encouraging others, and we'll encourage each other. Just encourage each other and others that are losing hope. Just a little bit of hopium. We got to laugh a little bit, and some of you are sharing that you went to see The Matrix today. Wow. I need to go see that because I'd love to. Maybe we could talk about it, okay? But until next time, I will do some more research. Like I said, I want to talk about the orphan trains and the incubators because I started coming up with some stuff when I started a little bit of research there. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted on when I'll do that. And again, if you need steel structures, you get in touch with us, Salee Steel Structures, and the information is right there. And if you would like to, tip your hostess, that would be how you do that, okay? But I want to thank you. I love you all. CC said, keep hope alive. Yes, keep hope alive. The old school, the old world is our connection, and it gives you more meaning when you know your history. So don't be afraid to learn this history. It's starting to unfold every day. Okay. Every day it's unfolding. It's very exciting. So as I get more info and share it with you, I'm just glad to do it. I'm glad that I stumbled onto this. Mala, thank you so much. Love to you in Sweden. We're going to do a section on Sweden too, the architecture. I know we'll get a lot of inspiration from it. Okay. Yes. Hey there. Check out John Levy on YouTube for some good gravy on the incubators. Thank you. Love you. Thank you so much. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Drop any of the links in for those other channels that other people want to start to go and look at. You're going to love this topic. I'm encouraging you. Madeline, thank you. Merry Christmas to you. I appreciate it. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Tracy. Love you. You're welcome. I will see you soon. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.